Topic of today's video, people. The PlayStation 4 will slaughter the Xbox Scorpio. But we'll come back to that a little bit later in the video. So I made some comments about the Scorpio's capabilities at 4K on Twitter yesterday. I then took them back, and then Digital Foundry backed up what I had originally said, only for Phil Spencer to back up what I said after I retracted. Confusing, I know. Now, I'm not saying that the Scorpio is a bad idea and that it won't be successful. Microsoft proved that enthusiast level hardware on consoles is in demand, as shown by the Xbox One Elite controller, and this console will come with, as alluded to, elite pricing. So Phil Spencer came out today and suggests that if you don't own a 4K television, do not upgrade to Scorpio. That the Scorpio is meant to play games in 4K, and if you only have a 1080p TV, it won't be worth it. Now, this could be him just talking so as to not deter sales away from the standard Xbox and the Xbox One Slim, but it could also mean that this is exactly what the Scorpio does. It takes our existing Xbox One game and simply runs the assets at 4K. If that's the case, then the 6 teraflops that this thing is coming equipped with is more than enough to reach 4K at the meager settings that most Xbox One titles run on. The console will also be cheaper, and it will be less work for developers who literally would just have to employ different resolutions on their games as opposed to reworking their games entirely for two different sets of hardware. So here's why the Neo is about to destroy the Scorpio. At 4K, the Scorpio should be good, but at 1080p, it's just a standard Xbox One, like Phil Spencer said, meaning at 1080p, it's not going to outperform the PlayStation 4, the cheaper PlayStation 4, and at 1080p, it's not going to outperform the Neo either. Essentially, if you're not gaming at 4K, and not many people are, then you're not reaping the benefits. And seeing as how most people are still gaming at 1080p, it's not just the PlayStation 4 that dominates the Xbox at resolution, but the Neo is going to absolutely destroy it. We're talking about 6 teraflops for the Scorpio at 4K, but we're talking about 4.14 teraflops for the Neo at 1080p, which is 5 less times the pixel density than 4K, which is also the Neo being more than twice as much power as the standard PlayStation 4 at 1.84 teraflops, and puts an even larger gap between it and itself and the Xbox One's 1.32 teraflops. So essentially what I'm saying is, when it comes to 1080p gaming, Sony is straight set to slaughter the Xbox One. As Phil Spencer said, if you don't have a 4K TV, Scorpio is not going to do anything for you. Meaning that at the mass market resolution of 1080p, Sony is not only going to continue to dominate the Xbox One, but the Neo is actually going to widen the gap. And oh, for the people that are claiming that the Scorpio means there's no reason to get a gaming PC, it's actually quite the opposite. The PC is the more popular platform, and while the PC gets all the Xbox One games, the opposite cannot be said to be true.